Are you curious about bodies, pleasure, and possibilities? And what about curious about what others are up to on the planet when it comes to pleasure, sex, and play? Have you considered what pleasure can do for your life, your body, and your bank account? Do you know something magical, delightful, and out of this world orgasmic is not only possible for you, but totally available to you? If you're ready to be the magical, sexual, sexy beast you know you can be, and you just need the tools to get there, you're in the right place. Now, here's the host of The Pleasure Zone, sensual movement artist, relationship and sex alchemist, Milica Jelenic.
Welcome, my sweet, sweet pleasure seekers. Tonight, we're going to have a fun conversation about lifestyle hacks for better libido. Funny thing about lifestyle hacks for better libido is that they may actually change a lot of things in your life. And I've been thinking, because I keep seeing people doing these hacking videos, I'm like, well, I should do a talk about hacking things too. Lifestyle hacks for libido, why not? So that's what we're doing. I have also written a bit of an article that you can find next week. So it will be up on Inspired Choices Network. So you can go over and read it. You don't have to take notes tonight, you know. I realized that some people might actually take notes during my show. And so check it out by next Monday, even, or in the next few days. It's going to be ready to go public. So you'll have a few things to read about there. Now, I gather my information from many resources, as you guys can probably tell when I do quote some things from different stuff. And so some of my research in that article, I did not like hyperlink it to different resources that I've studied over my lifetime. If you do require some kind of backup for what I'm saying in that article, just write to me and go, why do you think you know so much? Why do you think you know about that? Just tell me that. Just say that to me, and I will be happy to give you information on that and send you links if you need it. Hope you just read it with an enjoyably open mind and see what comes up for you. So why would we do a lifestyle hack for better libido? Like, why don't just surrender and go, I don't have any libido. That's life. You know, I'm over 40. That happens. It's my life. But it's not. So part of this is to look at your lifestyle and look at how you can kind of change just really small things in your lifestyle. They might seem big to you, but they're quite small. Changing a few things in your lifestyle so that you can have better libido. This article today, I was having some kind of brain farts experience where I didn't have clients in office. I was only doing some research for clients without anybody in my home. And those are the days where sometimes I get super creative. So along with writing about lifestyle hacks for better libido, I've also created a very fun checklist for happiness. And the checklist includes things for how you can naturally increase your dopamine, endorphins, all the serotonin, like the happy feel-good hormones. And so there's a list. There's ideas for how to improve it, foods you can eat. I will have that available as well for you. It's ready. It's just a matter of, I've been wondering, where do I put it? Do I put it on my website? Do I give it to you guys as a free offering? So I'm working on things, guys. I'm working on things. So I will reference, though, that the checklist that I have, if you would like to have it, and I haven't put it up yet somewhere, just private message me, and I'm happy to gift it to you for being a brave wonder for writing to me personally. You can find my email address on my website. You can just write to me through my website, milicajelenic.com. And that's milicajelenic.com. And just send me a note. Just write, I'd like the happiness checklist. And then you can use it in everyday life. You can take it, download it. You can, if you want to laminate it and use a dry erase marker on it every day to checklist what have you done for the day for your happy hormones, go for it. I actually created it because I would like people to be able to do that, to just check in every day. What have I done to be able to create happiness in my life. And pleasure in the pleasure zone is so much about creating happiness in our bodies and in our lives. Like pleasure and happiness go in tandem with each other, and joy. It's like triad of good stuff. So please do message me if that's something that you would like. I'd be happy to gift that to you. I'd be happy to gift it to you while I have it gifted, where I may actually make it a product. So we'll see. Maybe a product that you can buy. Maybe if you write to me now, you'll get it for free. So there you go. So lifestyle hacks for better libido. So for those of you listening, you're probably going like, who is she? Like, who is this woman? What did I just jump into? You've jumped into the pleasure zone, where we talk about bodies, sex, pleasure, all things to do with having a greater, happier life and having our bodies be happier with ease, with a lack of, lately I've been getting a lot of calls from people who are just like so down, and there's so many things that are affecting everything from sleep. Even my husband was like having weird sleep recently, which is um, not not common for him. So I'm just fascinated about how this is all pervasive, and I also know that this is all changeable. So we will be discussing all these things. Why? Because I love talking about bodies and sex, and it's what I do. It's what I do for a living. It's what I do when I work with people privately in my home office, when I work with them online, through different connections, like when I do things like evaluations for their health, if I do health coaching, if I do sex and intimacy coaching or relationship coaching, or if I'm just intuitively going to crack you open and have your life change. All of those things. It's all of those things that can show up and create some fun in our lives. So I would like to start with one thing, because the thing that kind of came up was, one of the hacks was like, if you're tired, your body is going to have a kind of a hard time being able to be turned on, because you're exhausted, the hormones aren't quite functioning. And why is that, and how can we change it? Well, when you're exhausted, your body's just not going to function the same. It's just trying to survive. You know, when you think about when you're exhausted, how much effort do you have to do anything other than maybe like lift your leg up off the sofa, get yourself to the bathroom and go pee, and then you're done? When you're truly exhausted, your body really doesn't have the energy to do much anything. It could, though, still receive, and it can receive in different ways. And one of the ways it could receive is through sleep, but it can also receive through touch. And we will talk a little bit about that. I mean, having somebody rub your feet or your back when you're exhausted can help your body relax. And part of that is because of those happy hormones that I was talking about that can get released when we have things like touch. So the very first lifestyle hack is all about sleep. And I have this, it's really fun to me to explain to people on the daily several things they can do to help their sleep that are essentially free. And I'm sure some of these are ones that, you don't really think about, but if you can just take this into account, that doing these things that I'm going to mention can actually have you have better, deeper sleeps, then your body will wake up energized, excited, and your libido will actually be better. So one of the things to have a better sleep is what I do in our house, is that I turn off all the tech in the house. Everything is off. TVs, sounds, lights, everything is off, including the Wi-Fi. We unplug it from the router. We have nothing running. The only thing that we have running electrically in the house is our fridges and freezers, and everything else is unplugged. It's unwired, unhooked, and there's nothing running through it. Maybe sound weird, however, it has made a difference for us. And last night was one of those weird nights where we accidentally left the Wi-Fi on, and both my husband and my daughter were awake. I was asleep for the first time in 2 weeks because I was exhausted. I was having I've just been working a lot and haven't been sleeping a lot. So that I know has affected my libido. So if I know it can affect my libido, chances are it can affect yours as well, because I'm not unique to this. So you're going to turn off all the tech in your house, including all the Wi-Fi, every night. Just make the conscious choice to do that, because you might not realize it, but all these frequencies, when they're going out to your body, like when they're in your house, they're just permeating your house. You don't notice it. You could actually go in with a machine. There's like this detector you can use to check EMF levels. And you'll find that even if nothing's running, if your computer's not running, if your cell phone's not on, as long as the Wi-Fi is connecting to it, it still emits a really high frequency. And our bodies pick up frequencies all the time. What they do is the cells will pick up the frequency that's being emitted, and then it's trying to adjust according to this information frequency that's coming at it, this Wi-Fi stuff that's coming at it. But it's such a foreign object that your body, it's almost like an invader. So it's like working to get rid of this stuff. Even Nikola Tesla, after when he was kind of in his destitute phase of his life, and he's like hanging out in New York, looking out the window, seeing how electricity is moving through the world. And even though he was part of creating alternating current, I mean, he was the one who brought alternating current to the world, not direct current. And when he created that, he thought this will be a safer way. But even nearing the end of his life, he said, this is actually going to be the destruction of humanity, because these frequencies are inviting other frequencies. I'm sort of summating what he said, but it's like those frequencies were making other frequencies work, and then we are surrounded. And he could tell in the years that he was still alive after the invention of AC, alternating current, that people's health and bodies were dramatically changing, and you could see that our health is highly affected by these frequencies that are coming at us. Now, that was pre-Wi-Fi, guys. Like, this is like way before our bodies were being bombarded by constant information. Just consider this information. You just sent a text that says, holy F, I can't believe our current government. Now, that information is traveling through Wi-Fi, through information that goes wherever it goes, and then it goes to somebody else. Well, in the meantime, it's traveling in the ethers. And we are connected to all of this information. We are actually being bombarded continuously by information, and we don't even realize it. So our bodies need that downtime as much as we can get. So turn off all of this stuff and get your body to just be in chill mode so you can have a deep sleep. I don't know that I've ever actually gone into such a rampage about sleep on this show, but trust me, it is so freaking integral. So please, for this segment is actually all the segments I'm going to talk about the lifestyle hacks for better libido are so important just to your libido, but to your health. The thing is, if your body is not healthy, your libido is gone. That's the thing. So a lifestyle hack is you actually need to have a different lifestyle in order for your body to be healthier, for your vitality to be healthier, for your libido to increase, right? They all work together. You cannot have a healthy body, or you can't have an unhealthy body and have a skyrocketing libido. It doesn't function that way. You might feel horny, but your body will not respond. Yeah. So sleep. What else can we do? So one of the things else that we can do is that we can actually wear things over our eyes. Like you can wear a sleep mask over your eyes to keep the light out, so that when you're sleeping, you're in more darkness. Now, sleeping in a room too that's like a room that's completely black, the lights are off, you've got blackout curtains. This can actually help your brain calm down and your pineal gland create melatonin. So then you don't have to be ingesting melatonin, because your body will create its own if you sleep in absolute darkness. It's just the nature of our bodies. It's the nature of our bodies because, way back when, we used to sleep in caves with total darkness, and our bodies then could actually sleep. It's only in the last 120 something years or so that we've had light in our homes, like excessive amounts of light beyond a candlelight, which has very few lumens. Now we have hundreds of lumens coming at us with these lights. You might have one candlelight in your entire house, And that's a very different light coming at your body. And a lot of times you wouldn't have that for hours and hours and hours after the sun goes down. We were not, we're no longer working in circadian rhythms. We're no longer working in the rhythms of the earth with sun and the moon times. We're not working with that anymore. We're stretching our days. We're trying to make all of our seasons the same by sleeping at the same time all the time and waking up at the same time all the time. And where's the reality in that? If you look at the animal kingdom does not do that. They will respond to different cycles of weather. They'll respond to different cycles of sunlight and darkness. So just think about it. We're not actually that far away from animals, guys. We are animals. We have a lot of similar characteristics, well, because we are, but also our sleep patterns. Some people could be more like cats, where you sleep for like 3 hours, you're up for 6 hours, you sleep for 3 hours. That's not wrong. That's just your sleep time. And if you're getting a deep sleep during the time that you're sleeping, kudos to you, because we could say there's a correct amount of time to sleep, but that is not something that I espouse to. I espouse to, if you're having deep, good sleeps while you're sleeping and your body is creating its own melatonin while you're sleeping, and your body has, no stimulation, and you can just have like a full on deep relaxation, you get into REM sleep, then your body is going to be happy about you and happy about what you're choosing. Holy cow, I'm like talking a lot about sleep. I will add a little bit more to this, and then we'll go to break. I just want to add that some things you can just keep in mind is try and have a really quiet surroundings while you sleep as well. That helps. I know for me, I'm very astute to noises. If I even hear like mouse outside scratching, I'm like, whoa, I'm awake. So I'm very aware at night. Part of it is just my training that I like am aware. So I wasn't until I had a child, and then I became very aware of everything as a like a mama bear. One of the other things, three things more to just think about, I'll mention them quick, is to not drink caffeine for about 8 hours prior to going to bed. So for example, if you kind of think about going to bed at 11, if you stop drinking caffeinated drinks by 3, your body will have enough time to kind of calm down and not be stimulated by the caffeine. Also, not doing vigorous exercise before bed. So it's not the time, like at say 9 o'clock at night, to go and do like a cardio workout for half an hour, because your body's going to get jacked. You're going to have all kinds of hormones running in your body that's going to get you like hyper. So you want to do calming things. If you do feel like you want to do something before bed, doing things like yoga or stretching exercises can assist your body in relaxation, right? So just aim for the relaxation mode things, and avoid things that are stimulating to your body too, like sugar in general, or even things that are like super stimulating visually, like watching horror movies, that can, it affects your brain. So you want to be able to have your brain be calm. There are a few things that people are doing, and I didn't mention this in my article, but people are wearing things like blue light blocker glasses to help their brains calm down. So that's another thing you could add too. So we're going to head to our first commercial break because I'm over time with my commercial right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about some other easy peasy natural ways to some lifestyle hacks to increase your libido when we come back from this commercial break.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email, info@milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my sweet, sweet pleasure seekers. Tonight we're talking about lifestyle hacks for better increased libido. Isn't that great? Why are we doing a lifestyle hack for something sexually related? Well, because guess what? Sex is for your body. And so your body needs to be healthy in order to be able to have a healthy sex life. So it's not just about your genitals. And your genitals are not separate from the rest of your body. It's always fascinating to me when people come and they're like, I've got this problem, maybe erectile dysfunction or vaginal dryness, or maybe they have something going on where they're having like vaginal atrophy. And I'm like, secret, it's because the rest of your body is actually not healthy. So we got to work on that first. It's a lifestyle choice. So we work on lifestyle. And as much as that can be really annoying for people because they want me to give them the little whatever pill, like, here, this is going to solve it, and now go have an erection. That's not going to solve it. That's going to give you a temporary fix. It's like a little, just fixes you for a moment. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a giant wound. You got to actually create something of a new lifestyle to change that, right? So just before break, I was talking about sleep and some different things you can do in order to have your body have a deeper, more restful sleep. And one of them I mentioned was to not eat stimulating foods. One thing that's definitely stimulating for a lot of people are sugars, different sugars. And some bodies can handle it more than others. So what falls into the sugar category so we got the regular sugars, like you might think of, oh, sugar. Oh, I'm not going to have a teaspoon of sugar, but I'll have a cracker instead. And crackers are carbohydrates. That's a sugar. Even things like glucose, fructose, lactose, any of the oses. So cheese is actually sugar. Glucose, ose, is a sugar. Fructose, ose, anything with that ose is a sugar. So you want to avoid sugars for at least 4 hours before bed so that your body isn't having to process that and feel high and keep you awake. So why else do we want to do that? Because sugar actually increases your insulin levels. So you've heard about people talking about diabetes and don't eat sugars, so they eat these false sugars, but those false sugars are actually confusing bodies. So eating things like Splenda and crap is crap. It's just confusing your body. You're better off looking at some other things like maple syrup or something that actually has some zinc in it, or something that's actually going to do something for your body if you're looking for sugars. As a diabetic, but that's a whole other story because this is not a show about diabetes necessarily. However, what does happen is as your insulin spikes, your testosterone lowers. So the higher your insulin, the lower your testosterone. That's just part of the way that the nature of our bodies works. So, and what do we need testosterone for? Well, lads and lasses, all of us in all gender categories, we actually require testosterone to stimulate the arousal of our bodies. It aids in it. It'll increase stimulation it'll increase arousal for men and women. It'll increase arousal for all genders. So this is I'm just going to refer to it as men and women. Whatever genitals you have and however you identify, your body requires testosterone in order to have arousal in your body. So I do, though, recommend that you do have a little bit of sugar in your life, not a lot, but a little bit will help your body to be able to have things like your brain function. You do need a certain level of sugars, but a lot of the time we're getting way more than we need. So if you're eating carbohydrates every day and you're eating sugars every day, say this is your lunch. Say you've had a sandwich with cheese, a cheese sandwich with a side of an orange juice with a ice cream sundae. That is, all of that is sugar, right? So there can be some value in the fats of the different dairy products, or some values in things like cheese fats and butter fats. And there are some values like fiber in some of the fruits and vitamin C in some of the fruits, but you got to look at your quantities and what you're eating and how you're ingesting it and what you're doing with it. So sugar itself, though, a lot of sugar, and if you're at that level where you're pre-diabetic or you are diabetic, then as your insulin issues increase, so will your libido issues increase. So your libido will get less and less and less over time. So what else is a sugar is alcohol, actually. And so that's my next little thing to add to this, because it's not something that people often think about, but alcohol is a high concentration of sugars. So one of the things that most people think about is like, oh, I'm just gonna like chill out and have like this really like nice night with my like lover, and we're just gonna have a bottle of wine, and then we're gonna have like cheese and crackers, and like we create this scenario because it sounds so romantic. Yet you're actually better off having the wine after you've had sex, because the wine or the alcohol itself it starts to dehydrate your body, and dehydration is an issue which we will talk about. But it affects your liver too, and that has an impact on other things. In different things, it'll increase like the fire energy in your body, but it'll also have a problem with burnout, right? So alcohol is actually a depressant, and it'll depress your body. And it can also be somewhat of a diuretic and can pull water out of your body. So you want to be hydrated, you want to be awake, and you want to have your body so that it's functioning optimally, right? So if you do like to have a glass of wine here or there, you want to have a shot of vodka, or you want to have, glass of cognac to be romantic, do it after you've had the sex so that your libido can be sustained and be utilized. It's once you start bringing the alcohol in, it'll suppress your body. Why? Because it's a sugar. It's also the nature of alcohol is being a suppressant. So it's also not that sexy to smell somebody that's got alcohol on their breath. For me, it's not, probably because I lived with an alcoholic for a number of years, and there's nothing less sexy to me than smelling somebody who's high, or somebody who is smells like booze. It's kind of gross. And vomit. Booze and vomit are kind of gross to me. I find them a big turnoff. I'd probably be better if somebody just shot on my floor. That's just me, though. That's just my life. So, but after the fact, I'm okay. Like, you can drink beer, but I don't want to like kiss you after you've had beer. So, or like whatever. So have it after you've had sex with me. Go right ahead, and don't have a lot of it, because I'll walk away. That's just me. So moderation, mostly I say moderation because people don't even know what the F moderation is. Like, you're having a glass of wine is not gonna really destroy your body. But if you're having like a glass of wine 3 times a day and you're having it every day of your life, that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of alcohol, that's dehydration, that's a lot of like trying to find a substitute for relaxation for your body, and then your body can become dependent on that as a way to relax, and then all of a sudden now you've got dependency going on. And then that's just not going to work, right? So we've got to curb that before that happens. There are lots of different ways that you can other ways that your body can relax other than having alcohol, and because it affects your libido, and that's what we're talking about tonight. It's not that I'm anti-drinking. I do like to have a drink occasionally. It's more about like, if this is a problem for you, you might want to look at your lifestyle and see like, oh crap, I am drinking a lot, or I'm What I didn't add in my article, because this article is seen worldwide, is I didn't add things like marijuana into this. Even though marijuana is legal in Canada, it also affects libido as well. So you might think you're horny for a bit, but it's going to also affect libido, blood flow, different things, so that your body, you're not having the same sexual response. Your mind might think you're having it, but your body is not reacting to it. So just something to keep in mind. This recording goes out to the world too, but that's what I'm just mentioning. In Canada, it's legal. Doesn't mean that it's going to help you with your libido. So one of the things, there are actually articles available out there. If you like scholarly articles, you can find scholarly articles on how alcohol actually affects genital response. So if that's something you'd like to see, you can look them up. If you can't find them, I can direct you to that. And it also might give you like a bit of a false sense of not just relaxation, but confidence. So I'd rather have you be confident truly than use alcohol as your tool for confidence, right? So it gets a little messy, right? And there are other things that can affect your libido, and I've talked about that. So certain medications can affect your libido as well. But what we're talking about is how we can lifestyle hack for better libido. Right? And the better libido is, I'm not telling you to get off medications. I cannot tell you to do that. But if you are on things like heart medication, and that can actually affect your erection, your genital response in general, and your body will be affected by medications and alcohol and drugs of all kinds. It's just the way our bodies work. So when we come back, we're actually going to head to our next break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about relaxing. How do we do it? How do we do it if we're not going to get stoned and high and drunk? Like, what are we going to do? And I'm going to have some ideas for you when we come back from this next commercial break. You're listening to The Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Interested in masturbating for money, copulating for consciousness, and pleasuring on purpose? 21 Days of Sexual Magicism with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic is an exploration of tools, processes, and actions that you can use to create more for your life, your body, your money inflows, and so much more. Graduated learning for all levels of interest. Learn at your own pace via video classes or join the yearly live class. Take a peek at www.milicajelenic.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email. info@milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my sweet, sweet pleasure seekers. Tonight we're talking about lifestyle hacks for better libido. Woo! Who doesn't want better libido? Well, the thing is, your lifestyle might actually be contributing to you not having the hottest, deepest, sexiest libido. So the people that this show is for are people who have a relatively normal, healthy lifestyle for what they feel is a normal, healthy lifestyle. If you've gone through trauma and your body is still experiencing trauma, it's going to be really tricky for you to do this next one for relax because your body is still reliving a lot of that. There are lots of different methods for trauma release, and I've talked about some on shows regarding trauma. Just look in my archives for that. And so that isn't really what we're gearing this toward. This is for people who are having kind of the average decent lifestyle, and they would like to have an even better, more conducive to greater libido lifestyle. So you might already have a libido and we're just pumping it up. You might have a really low libido and a very low response libido, like you might be having erectile dysfunction or you might be having vaginal dryness. Then some of these hints and tips and tools might assist you with creating some change for that. So the next one is all about relaxing. And why is that important? Well, one of the things, and I talk about this a lot, and I reference Dr. Ron Janer a lot on this as well. He just explains it so well in his show on grizzly bears and 2-year-olds, the response in the body from the amygdala to the thyroid to the adrenal glands, and how when you are not relaxed, if you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode, your body is going to be on constant overdrive. And when your body's on overdrive, it doesn't care about pleasure. It just doesn't. It cares about survival, and it just wants to live, and that's it. It won't care about digestion. It doesn't care about metabolism. It's just like, get me through the day. And so when you're on that much overdrive, one of the things to do is learn to relax, for sure. And there's so many millions of ways to learn to relax. Sometimes it does come down to actually getting medical intervention where you might need somebody to assist you with your cortisol levels. So that does happen. But a lot of things you can try yourself as well. On top of that, just if you're like, oh my God, I'm too far gone, then always seek medical help if you feel you're too far gone. If you don't feel like you're too far gone and you feel like, I got this, maybe I just needed some tips and tools, I got some tips and tools for you for relax. So some of the ones I've mentioned are already in that whole segment that I talked about, sleep, where it's like the quiet, the darkness, the letting your body just have no stimulation. That is amazing for relaxing. For some people, it'll be so foreign that for a little bit, they'll be very uncomfortable with that level of silence, darkness, and quiet. And just be with that discomfort, and your body will start to be able to figure out how to work with that, especially if you know some deep breathing exercises. And there's like a mazillion out there. Mazillion's a number that I created. And the mazillions of them out there, they're some of my favorite. One of my very favorites is the Wim Hof method. If you don't know Wim, you can check him out. He's got an app you can get on your phone, and you can follow his app. Plus he has a great Nordic accent that you can listen to. And you just you breathe in and out and in and out. And you do this. He has a pattern. He has on his app, you can just work with the app, with the timing. You do breath holds. And then you do this. You do a certain number of cycles. It takes about 15 minutes. And you do breath holds, and then you breathe in between. And then you learn to actually regulate your all of your nervous system. And when you can do that, when you actually practice this method, you can increase your immunity, and you can increase the ability to be able to control things like anxiety in your body as well. And if you can do that, then your body's going to really be able to relax. I'm a huge, huge fan of Wim Hof. He also does some things like cold exposure, which are tremendously key for bodies to learn how to relax. It sounds vicious and it sounds almost like it's torture. But if he does have a method, so you can look him up, you can listen to him. He was also interviewed by Gwyneth Paltrow's team on the show Goop. I think it's called, on Netflix, if that's still available. So Wim Hof was the cold man. They call him the Iceman, I think. And it's brilliant. His method works really well for me. Try him out. If that doesn't work for you, if you're like, ugh, too much work, app, don't have a phone, whatever, cool, don't do it. He does have videos though on YouTube as well. One of the other things you can do though is just learn to deeply breathe and connect. So you can deeply breathe and you can go like deep breathe in and just become aware of your breath. So just consciously being aware of it. It's like, I just breathed in, interesting. I'm breathing out, interesting. And it's just observing it. You don't have to say it out loud like a goof like I just did, but you can just observe it. Sometimes making little noises is fun too. Some of my meditation teachers in the past are all about doing sound. Sound as a tone, sound as a deep breathe, like, whatever makes you feel good, and it's sometimes fun to give a little sound out of your body as a relaxation mode. It can sometimes tickle your diaphragm a bit so that your body can relax into the diaphragm and then down. And then other methods can just be like there's a million ways to meditate. One of my other favorite ways to meditate is through mantra meditations. You can pick a mantra that works for you and chant it over and over again to help you feel connected and connected. We'll say connected. And then it'll also assist your body in relaxing. Connection is a great way for relaxation. And I will be talking about connection as well, and the importance of connection for increasing libido. So why do we relax? Well, the funniest thing is, if you've listened to this show, you'll hear me say over and over again, relax into orgasm. And I know that this confuses a lot of you. You're like, I don't get it. No, my body has to like build up into orgasm, but your body can relax into orgasm. When your body feels safe, when your body feels like it's being listened to, even if you're doing BDSM and your body feels like it's being respected and listened to, you can relax into that, to the orgasmic energy of that as well. Even if you're being spanked, it might be elevated, but you can relax into it. So in all levels, I find that is such a key thing for libido, is to feel relaxed in your body and your mind and your being and your spirit, all those levels. So if you're living in a hectic environment, if you're living even in a place that's hectic, where there's like noises from the neighbors all the time and your body is constantly on overdrive, it's going to be really hard to relax. So if you're living in a situation where your body is on that constant stimulation, it might be good to just take like a weekend, go away for a weekend or a week, to a hotel or something, or somewhere that's even quieter, out in the middle of the woods, which is where I live, and just yourself be in nature to relax. One of the ways to actually increase things like some of the happy hormones is to actually be in nature. So you can find that happy hormone list too. Again, if you want it right away, just message me. I will send that to you. The checklist. This is October 18th of 2021. If this is in the future, even 2 or 3 months in advance, it will be either located on my website or will be a link on a leaderboard, could be both, through Inspired Choices Network as well. So look for them or ask me about that, and I'm happy to share my happiness list with you, my happiness checklist. So, so what we want to do is get our bodies to chill and get that, get your adrenal medulla to release things like cortisol, and just let it just calm down. Yeah. So, like when cortisol is really high or epinephrine's really high in your body is really just trying to survive. It's not trying to like have an orgasm or anything. So we just want it to raise enough that you're not like stunted, but we also don't want it to be so high that you're like on overdrive. So there is like a happy level for cortisol levels and epinephrine levels. There's a happy level. And you can kind of tell when you're in that is that you feel motivated, but you don't feel manic, and you also don't feel like depressed, right? So you're not in the manic or depression state, but you are it's a calm kind of just being state. So yeah, definitely ask me about my happiness hormones list. So We're going to talk about one to me that seems like almost too obvious that it's funny but silly, but let's just think about our bodies for a second and the composition people talk about all the time. Like, we're basically made of stardust and water. Yep, I just said that. We're basically made of stardust and water. So water itself is a key part of our bodies. And this has blown my mind for years and years and years, is how for so many years when I went to allopathic doctors and I would have things going on in my health, never once in all my 30 years of going to allopathic medicine, including my grandfather was an allopathic doctor as well. He was a family physician. Hardly ever saw that man drink water. He drank a lot of coffee and juice and other things, high stimulation stuff all the time. He didn't drink alcohol, but man, did he love his sweets, and did he ever love his ice cream. So he was, but he worked insane hours, and he kind of became dependent on coffee because of his insane hours and the shit he saw in his life. Probably just helped him survive, right? So never heard him talk about water in my entire life. Never heard him talk about water, or any of my other family members who are in medicine either. Official medicine, but it's all the alternative health practitioners or the holistic health practitioners in my family. We talk about water all the time. Did you have enough water today? Is usually the first question I ask people. Ask your body, did it have enough water today? And your body, you might automatically go, yeah, sure, no, I don't know. What does that mean? What is enough water? Yeah, what is enough water is one of my favorite questions. I probably get asked that at least 5 times a week, if not more, from people that I talk to, people who are coming to me for a first session, people who've been coming to me for years who still don't quite understand the simplicity of how much water do you have. So there are formulas you can use. There are formulas like for every 20 pounds you weigh, you can drink 8 ounces of water. So that's 9 kilos to 250 mils of water. That's one formula. Now, if you start adding things like caffeinated things or things that are diuretics, then you need to have extra water to make up for the diuretic. Well, how do you calculate that? Well, that calculation goes to for, every, like if you have a medium coffee of Tim Hortons, then you need 2 medium coffees of sizes of water to be able to just nullify that coffee, right? Okay, well, we could go into the maths of it or simplify it. Have enough water so that every day your pee is the color of straw. And if you don't know what straw looks like, it's a very light yellow, it's a straw color. It's a beigeish yellowish. And that would be the color that a healthy pee is. So sometimes when you're taking extra vitamins and things, if you're taking extra iron or extra vitamin C, your pee will change color because of the vitamin content of your pee as well. And drink more water so that your body is utilizing all those vitamins. Okay, I'm just going overboard again. So we're going to head to our next and last commercial break. You're listening to The Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email. info@milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. We're talking about lifestyle hacks for better libido, and I'm going to try and fill this next 5.5 minutes with as much information as possible to share with you guys. What I realized before the break was I talked about my love of water and how much water you need and what color your pee should be if you've had enough water. But what I forgot to tell you is how does that affect your libido? So one of the things that dehydration does to our bodies is that it will actually have your body get things like headaches, irritability, stress, body pains, all of that. What does that do? Your body's not happy. It's not going to be horny. Body's not happy. It's not horny. So if you think about this, if your mouth is dry because you're, feeling like you're dehydrated, what's going to go next? That's like a mucous membrane. Where else do you have mucous membranes? Well, you got them everywhere. They're internal. They're everywhere. Ears, you name it. Your vagina is also a mucous membrane. So is your anus. And if you want to dry out everything, if you want to dry out your vajayjay, then one of the things to do is just get yourself dehydrated. So having enough water, why? It's going to help blood flow for erections. It's going to help stimulate the mucosa. It's going to assist your body in just being overall healthy. There are doctors in the world who are absolutely brilliant, and all they talk about is water. And there was one, and I don't know if he's still there in BC, basically heals people completely with the use of water through ingesting water, having different things like saline salt water, which is more like a sodium chlorate, tastes a bit like bleach, but not that much. But so there's that. And then, enemas, drinking it, you name it, flushing it, soaking in it, all of that. So water is key. And just know that your body requires it in order to be hydrated and function properly. Your cells require it to flush out things. So your body needs water to keep you sustained. Okay, connection. I got 3 seconds pretty much to talk about connection with you. And one of the key things to get that connection going, the connection is, let's keep it simple. Hug it out for 20 seconds. Just get your partner, hug it out. For if you hug for more than 20 seconds, your body will start to relax. If you're doing it for less than 20 seconds, it's almost like a tease. You just get the body going. If you can hug it out for more than 20 seconds, your body can get into deeper and deeper relaxation and deeper sense of connection. Other super easy, cheap way to do connection is look at each other in the eyes. Actually look directly at each other in the eyes. And as I said in my article, I said, let's do eye-to-eye contact instead of hand-to-hand combat, because so many people are fighting instead of just connecting. So let's keep it to connection. And having conversations. You know me, I'm the communication lover of all times. Communicate about it. Communicate. Say what's going on. Even if it's just about your daily mundane things, just talk about it. Have some fun. Maybe go on a date, even if it's a simple date. And I've talked to you guys about this before too, is that, if you're not in a position to go out and go to the movies, go on a big trip, whether it's financial or whether it's the world right now, just go for a drive with your lover. I even have a field. I just go out to the field sometimes with my lover, or just, if he's working in the cabin, I'll just go out and check him out in the cabin. So you can have different ways to be able to enjoy each other and have dates that are simple dates, even if they're for half an hour. It's lovely. Remember to have moments of gratitude too, because you know what? These ways of connecting can help your body feel happier, more relaxed, more at ease, and more desirable. I know that when I'm being given gratitude, my body is thrilled, and I love having and being gifted gratitude. So I'll receive that fully, and my body will respond with great joy and turn on. It's just one of those lovely things. So for all of you who are listening, I know that there's so much more information to share with you. I'm going to try and get one more in. Just doing a little acts of service for your partner too. I've talked about the 5 love languages. Just utilize some of them with your partner just to see how that works, and whether you're bringing them random gifts as well. Whatever it works for you.
Thank you for listening to The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. The Pleasure Zone returns next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.